Welcome to episode 73 of Norse Myths, Legends, and Folktales. My name is MyLinda Butterworth, and today we learn how Siegfried's life comes to an end in part 2 of the Betrayal of Siegfried. There was none like to Siegfried at the hunt. Many wild animals he slew, and he caught a bear alive and bound it, and when he set it free they all gave chase. But it would have escaped but for his valor. They afterward sat down to feast together. Food there was in plenty, but no wine. Siegfried made complaint thereat, for he was grievously athirst, and he vowed he would never again hunt with him. Little did he dream that a plot was laid to accomplish his death. Hagen said that there was a clear spring nearby from which they could take refreshment, and he challenged Siegfried to a race with him thither for a wager. Hagen stripped off his clothing, but Siegfried ran in full armor, carrying his shield and spear and his bow and quiver, and yet he reached the spring first. But the hero drank not. He cast off his armor and laid his weapons on the grass to await the coming of Gunther the king, so that he might have refreshment before any other. Dearly did he pay for his courtesy. When the king had taken his fill and Siegfried stooped down to drink, Hagen drew away stealthily the sword and the bow, and then plunged the spear through the hero's back at the spot where Kriemhild had embroidered the cross. He drew not forth the weapon, but made hurried escape. Never before did he run so swiftly from any man. Siegfried sprang up in anger, the spear sticking fast in his back, and sought for bow or sword to take vengeance on Hagen. But he found his shield only, and he flung it after the traitor. It smote him to the ground, and the forest echoed the blow. But Siegfried but had his sword in that hour. Hagen would have been slain. Snow white grew the cheeks of that sore wounded man. The lordly guest of Gunther, he sank to the ground. His strength went from him. Death was in his face. Alas, many a fair woman wept tears for him in aftertime. Among the flowers lay Kriemhild's noble husband, and they were made red with his life's blood. He spake faintly, bitterly reproaching those who had plotted treacherously against him. He called them cowards. "I have served ye well," he said, "and thus am I repaid. The children yet unborn shall suffer for these foul deeds." Gunther wept. "Weep not for treachery, thou from whom treachery hast come," Siegfried said. "Now is all danger past," said Hagen. "I rejoice that he is brought low." "Boast not, murderous man," Siegfried warned. "In fair conflict I had naught to fear from thee. O Kriemhild, Kriemhild, my deepest grief is for thee. Would that our son had never been born, because he must bear from his enemies the bitter reproach that his kinsmen are murderers and traitors." Gunther he reproached for his ingratitude. "I have saved thy life," he said. "I have been the guardian of thine honor. This foul deed is my payment. If thou hast any honor left, protect my wife, thy sister." He groaned, for his wounds afflicted him sore. Again he spake, saying, "In days to come ye shall suffer for this monstrous deed. Yourself have you slain when ye slew me." He spake no more. Among the blood-steeped flowers he struggled with death. They laid his corpse upon a golden shield and bore it towards Worms, and in the darkness they left it at the door of Kriemhild's dwelling. In the morning, when the fair queen was going forth to prayers, she saw the dead body of Siegfried. husband!" she cried. "Brunhild had desired that he should be slain, and by Hagen was he murdered." Heavy was her heart with grief, unutterable, nor could she be comforted. Old King Sigmund embraced his dead son and wept bitterly. Tenderly was Siegfried's body lifted and borne within. His wounds were washed. In grave robes was he dressed and laid upon a bier. After 3 days of mourning, the body was borne to the church, and many assembled there to gaze with sorrow upon the dead hero. Gunther came and said that Siegfried had been slain by robbers. "I sorrow because he is dead," he told Kriemhild. "If there was sorrow in thine heart," she answered him, "my husband would not now be laid in death. Would I were dead and he were still alive!" When Hagen approached the body of Siegfried, the spear wound bled afresh. Thus was it proved to all who were there that he was indeed the murderer. Many wept in the streets. Kriemhild went to the grave, or even the coffin was covered over. She besought to gaze once again upon the face of her husband. Her desire was granted her, and she lifted up that fair head in her white hands and kissed the death-cold lips of Siegfried. Then fell she in a swoon, nor did she open her eyes again until morning. Sigmund departed soon afterwards and journeyed to his own land, but Kriemhild would not return with him because she desired to be avenged for her husband's death. She was ever mourning, but Brunhild cared not in her pride. At length Gunther sought her forgiveness, deeming that she had mourned overlong. Kriemhild said, "I shall forgive him with my lips, but never with my heart." Yet was she at length constrained to pardon all who had plotted the death of Siegfried, save Hagen, whom she could not suffer to look upon. Hagen spake to Gunther of the Nibling treasure, which he could not but think over, and the king contrived that Kriemhild should send for it. So came it to pass that a strong army was sent unto Siegfried's kingdom. The dwarf Alberic lamented the loss of the Cloak of Obscurity, yet did he deliver up the vast treasure, in the midst of which was a magic rod, which would give to the one who possessed it anything that they might wish for, but none knew its virtues. Thus was all the wealth of the Niblings brought unto Kriemhild. She distributed gold to rich and poor, and many adventurous knights paid visit to Worms to share of her bounty. Wages she gave to a great number, so that ere long she had a strong force of war men in her service. Hagen was greatly alarmed thereat, and spoke unto the king of Kriemhild's doing. He counselled that the treasure should be taken from her, but Gunther refused to do any harm unto his sister because of the vows he had sworn. Then Hagen seized the hoard by force and carried it away. He sank it into the Rhine of Lochheim, with hope to enrich himself in after times. So was Kriemhild's immediate hope of vengeance cut off. She took her departure from Worms, and went to dwell with her mother at Lorsch. There she embroidered tapestry with pictures of Baldur, who had by his brother been slain. There she tarried for many years, biding the hour of vengeance. Tidings at length came from beyond the Rhine, which brought near the fulfillment of Siegfried's dying words. "Yourself have ye slain when ye slew me." And here is where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales. Many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey.